Hello. So it is my birthday. One of my favorite songs is 235 by Spaceman 3. Wow, I am a little drunk. Spacemen 3. And what are we going to talk about now? We're going to talk about it's been about a year since I had a piece of my brain removed. So, cheers to that statement. Yes. It's an intense situation, right? Um, you're born into this world. No one expects any real surgeries, right? Like, you're not living life expecting to be like, oh, I have a triple bypass surgery in my heart, any of that kind of stuff, right? And not to sound cocky, but I feel like brain surgery is one of the top, you know? Like, if you're just a football player and you have like your ankle worked on because you got something else, your shoulder, blah, blah, blah. I feel like that's not as big as we're gonna remove a piece of your brain, okay? So we're not gonna harp on that subject, but this is a year after I had a piece of my brain removed, and I can't, um, really tell you if it's good or bad, right? Because 1, I'm now single, and I also have, 3 fun jobs, like, I like people, I enjoy people, I like strangers, right? So the jobs I have now are I work at the airport where I see a lot of people, and I work at a nightclub that's open at 3:30 where I see a lot of people. So, yeah, it's nice. But at the same time, uh, the whole point is like a Russian roulette. I'm working at a nightclub, right? People are there to have a good time. I work out front where I'm a wander. So, these young kids, basically, I'm like a chaperone at a high school dance. I'm 47. These kids are young. Uh, so they first come in to the people to card them. Then they come to me and my boys where we wand them, you know? Pretty simple. Pockets empty, arms out. Wand them, all right, half a spin, wand the back, all right, have a good time. Thank you, have fun. Now, uh, again, remember, Philadelphia is a commonwealth, not a state. So we have a lot of like wild little underground rules because we created a whole country here. Ben Franklin and them were like, all right, what do we do? We want to party as much as we work and are making this entire thing slaughtering Native Americans, just figuring out shit, clearing trees and building our shit. How do we party? Okay, right, right. So there's only a very small amount of after hour club licenses. And this is one of them. And it's huge. It's a huge club. Uh, been around for as long as our city. So it's hilarious, right? So, you want them. What am I point? Hold on. I'm straying from the subject. Uh, so it's a ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, right? So now my whole life is basically Russian roulette, having a good time, wanding these people in. Since it's open at 3:30, every other club is closed at 2 o'clock. So at 2:10, the line, boom, explodes. So, I'm good, having a good time, blah, blah, blah. If I start having a fucking seizure, what does that mean, right? This is a life I live. Intensity. So, you have a line of 40 young, beautiful people. I'm 47. They're like 22. I'm basically a chaperone at a high school dance. They just want to get into one of the only clubs in Center City open for another hour and a half. Hey, what the fuck is going on with that? If I start having a seizure and I can't get to my rescue medication, or the seizure's strong enough where it overpowers the seizure shit, um, I went over this before, like, but okay, so this generally doesn't happen. I usually have one on me, but say that fucking so this is the reality. Say that night I don't have one on me, then I'm definitely having a seizure in front of these people. But hold on. Ideally, I have this. These things, right? So, one of the biggest, uh, again, through the years, I've learned I'm extremely lucky. If you go back through my channels, my deja vu slash warning is extremely strong. Like, clearly, this is live. I've never done this before, right? It's 2:43 a.m. on March 1st, my birthday. Hello, right? So one of the strongest triggers for me is, say I'm sitting around just hanging out, doing whatever. Clearly, I've never done that before because it's time. So all of a sudden, I'm like, oh shit, wait, have I been here? And then all of a sudden, all these things seem really familiar. Like right now, I'd be like, oh, what? Wait, did I do this on my birthday before? Oh, I remember that painting over here and this over there, blah, blah, blah. And you go into this wild darkness, but you feel like you're telling the future because, again, I've never done this before. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, shit. You get the feeling of like, okay, wait, I remember the painting, that painting there, that, right? And that is the moment you're supposed to take this. So when you're like, oh, wait, I feel like I've been here, right? So the premonition, like the fact that you feel like you're telling the future, right? This is amazing. And this isn't a commercial. But before this, like, so I've had this for 5 years. About 3 years ago, it was a pill in a goddamn like tinfoil, super hard to open fucking medical thing, right? So as you feel your dude, I could never, ever, ever get that thing open, right? I barely could figure out like, oh shit. Like, it was like in my wallet basically. I'd be like, oh, put in my wallet and I'd just be staring at this like childproof fucking pill bottle, metal, extra hard shit to open, and I just basically would have a seizure every time because I would just stare at it. But at that time, I was living with somebody. Um, So basically, they could tell what I meant. He's like, and they knew, oh shit, oh okay, that's what he's. Oh fuck, even before they saw it, again, when you live with somebody, you're just watching TV. You're not doing a lot of stuff half of the time, whatever. So I'm just, if they're in the kitchen, I'm just, and I, and again, the pills would be available, like on countertops. But if she wasn't looking at me and haven't been talking for a while because I'm watching a TV show, I would just have this extremely hard to open fucking childproof drug thing in my hand. And she would only know it was happening because she would turn around and I'd be into my full seizure. Well, luckily humans, as we do, we evolve, we adapt, we figure shit out. So now the beauty is no more fucking tinfoil opening. It's just this. If I feel it coming on, and that's already a minute and 30 seconds quicker than a pill. Just the physical aspect. And again, a pill takes time to absorb in your blood and shit. As we all know from what I hear of cocaine and all, this is immediate, right? So this is quicker to it, no plastic, and just quicker to the drug chain. So you're already saving like I don't even know. It feels like 800 times the speed. Um, Now again, this is also the container, not the drug, but the container device, this delivery device, is also what heroin addicts use. Um, Theirs is called Narcan, but it's the same thing. Like ideally, I mean, I don't know how. I guess it's for other people though. Because if you're nodding out and you're going down, there's no way you're going to be like, oh, I'm going down. I should use this. So I'm pretty sure this is meant for the other people, uh, unless you're on shitty heroin, right? Because isn't the whole point is, you go out, you're not trying to revive yourself. So I feel like this works against you if you're a junkie, right? Uh, yeah, I feel like this is like when they invented light beer. Back in the day, beer, just strong, 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 heavy, blah, blah. And then someone's like, everyone's kind of fat and they kind of blah, 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 blah. And then it came up with light. And then that's pretty much replaced it all. Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light. That's like the standards. You almost forget that, well, light is a version of more intense shit, right? So not to say this is heroin light, but I'm saying I feel like junkies can have a better time knowing that this is out there. Before you just roll the dice. If it was too strong, you died. But if you didn't die, that's what you want, right? You want the strongest shit, but you're still alive. It's just that mentality. Uh, so yeah, so it's wild as shit. Like this just prevents me from having a seizure. But um, yeah, I just find it wild that it's the same container as junkies. Uh, yeah. So okay. So let's bring it to a real thing. So again, it's been a year. Um, I haven't had a full seizure, but I am having triggers, and they're very close. But as usual, since we know how to prevent it, if I start to feel a seizure come on, I don't want a full seizure. So, you're like, oh shit, here comes one. You take this and you don't have one, right? But since I've had surgery to correct it and never had a seizure, this is always with me. It's always in my pocket. And then basically, I've been seeing how far I can go. Like if I'm hanging out and I'm in Center City or something like, oh shit. And the first thing is you can't talk. Whether you're talking to somebody or not, you can tell you're like, oh, I can't talk to anybody right now. And then I pull this out of my pocket and I sit there. And I personally wait as far as I can so I have my gauge, right? All the doctors ask you is your gauge, your gauge, your gauge. If you're someone that like immediately starts to that doesn't really help them, you know? If you're someone that's like can wait a little bit, it helps them understand a little more. You're like, because they always are under 10 minutes. That I learned very early. The whole experience is usually only 15 minutes. You know, if you start to feel the seizure into the actual seizure, into the coming back, where you wake up a little bit, you see people go under again. The whole thing is usually under 20 minutes. You know, um, that's why they always suggest you never call an ambulance. Like the ambulance can't do anything except cost you a lot of money. So people turning on your side and just ride it out. So yes, so since I had my one surgery to fix it to remove a piece of my brain, this last year, lastly was a little over a year now. That was last January. Okay, so for this year, I try to pay attention. Uh, and the good doctors, obviously at first they're like, oh, so 6 months before there should be any visible change at all. So basically, like the first 6 months, your brain's just This is still the craziest statement. So the first 6 months, your brain's still trying to figure out how to. I guess it's like highways. It's just trying to figure out how to rewire information since a part of it's been removed. So if you're driving on 995 from Maine to Florida, and out of nowhere, an exit is just gone. But there's no signs, there's no construction signs telling you what the best way is. You're just saying, "Hey, this is closed now." Okay. Luckily, there's things called maps. So you're like, "Oh, okay, 95 is pretty straight. 95. Oh shit. Uh, this exit to Maine is gone, but I know I just have to go over here and then get back on 95, right?" That is what my brain is trying to do. Figure out how to continue to work after a piece has been removed. About 8 months later, I had my first. Oh shit! I had my first tremor. My first, I would say over my first over 50% feeling like, oh fuck. And again, I took it out, waited, it was really strong, and went away. And actually, as I tell that story, I believe the one before that that was stronger was when my friends were here and we were playing guitar. And, so it was me and two people playing guitar, two males playing guitar. And one of the most adorable couples ever, Pat and Linda. We could all hope to be like them. Holy Christ. If you had to explain to an alien the human race, you would show them Pat and Linda. Just pure love, pure everything. They love music. So, Pat so the men are in here making music, and Linda's just out there enjoying herself. And we're done for the night, so we're packing up guitars and all that good stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm like, but now they know enough that, I'm a motor mouth, I'm a talker. So when McCartney's not talking, they know what that means now. So, again, we're in this room. They're right there. Guitar, guitar. I'm here. They're about here. I'm about here. They're starting to pack up. I'm like, all right, guys, dude, great session. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, it's a high school friend and a college friend. We love each other, and we very rarely have all three uh, decades together. For me at least. So yeah, yeah. No, I'm in a great mood, and this is like nice, dude. And again, they're packing up guitars and all that shit, so they don't really notice it happening. So I sit down, you know, right over here. Again, they're packing up guitars. The wife is still, out there. You know, so now it's been a couple of years, so they know that I have this condition. But I don't know what my point is. But basically, basically, I have friends over. It's a great night. We're all jamming. Um, they know I have this condition. Um, but it's always that transition. Again, I happen to be a motor mouth, thank God. But if you're like a quiet dude, that's gotta be hell. If you're a quiet person and you're just like hanging out wherever and you just slowly go into a seizure, who the fuck's gonna notice? You know what I'm saying? If I'm a motor mouth and packing up the guitars and all something. And I know and I can feel it, but I don't have this with me. Um, you know what I mean? So, my friends are packing up their guitars. They don't realize why I'm sitting down. I know I'm sitting down because, and again, that's like the break. You don't really have any time. Like if you don't have this on you immediately, that's it. Just like before, the ridiculousness of trying to fucking open up those pills and those fucking metal child-proof cases was never going to happen. This is a giant step for mankind. But if you don't have it on you, that's it. You just trying to go through. So luckily, I didn't have this on me, or I shouldn't say luckily, but I didn't have this on me. But luckily, Pat, the one guitar player, at this point could tell. So he turns around and he sees me sitting here breathing, right? And now, I mean, luckily, that was one of the rare times because mine usually are just always tonic-clonics. I never normally have the medium like this night. I usually go, oh shit, here it comes. And then I just, as you can see by my videos, I just go into full, all out tonic-clonic, knocked out, drooling, spazzing, the whole shit. So, uh, like all epilepsy, I would imagine, you try to see, like, yeah, so you can tell your doctors and shit, you're like, well, I was here, and I immediately went to 100, or you're like, well, I was here, but, I went to like 40, and I felt like I was in control a little bit, and then I went to like 60, but then it kind of went back. Like being able to describe it to your doctor is, well, I guess like any condition. But I feel like this is even more important. So again, Pat turns around. He's like, "Oh, dude, oh shit, And at this point, he could tell I couldn't talk, but I was giving him like hand signals where now again he knows enough. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, just keep down." And I wonder, if his calm voice was keeping me tethered to here, where he's just saying, "Oh yeah, yeah." Where I was anchored a little bit, uh, you know, to the voice. Where if I was by myself, I would have just went into the darkness full fledged. Now, meanwhile, as he was talking the whole time, at some point his wife came, and she was just in this doorway here. And um, the best way to describe it is like every time for me, it's like when you cross your eyes, there's an image here, there's an image here. And, the more you cross your eyes, oh, okay, they actually come together and you see the whole picture, that kind of shit. Apparently, she was there, like, saying comforting things, blah, blah, blah. Just standing there watching, whatever it was. But um, I had no idea she was there for a long time until, again, didn't have the full seizure. My friends were saying polite things. Again, it's obviously very intense for them. 5 years. I know these guys for 30 years, and only within the last 5 years, they had to put up with it. I should say put up with it. That's a terrible way to phrase it. But only within the last 5 years did they see someone they love and know have a really wild ass fucking Russian roulette condition. So yeah, so at some point, you know, it focused together, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Linda, how you doing? Hey." And I was like, the all the way back from potentially having a seizure was the first time. Because again, you usually have, you're basically cross-eyed, and then at some point, those cross-eyes come together, and you see the full picture. And I was just like, "Ah, hey, Linda." And again, Linda's the most adorable, greatest. It's what you want to see all the time. I was like, "Oh shit, hey girl, what's up?" And then but I could see on her face like the fucking face, the concern. She just watched me go through all this shit and played it off legit. But it's got to be fucking scary as fuck. Um, whether you have a soul or not. I live in Kensington, Philadelphia. I've seen a lot of overdosing and a lot of just really wild shit. Now that's their choice, but either way, your brain doesn't understand. Your brain just sees like, wow, fucking, that's a wild ass person doing some like, what the fuck is going on over there, right? So if it's a medical condition and someone you love that you know for most of your life that has a huge heart, so I come together, I see her, I'm just in like a friendly, like, oh, I'm finally back. Like, um, the one thing I would say every time I come out of a seizure, I'm very childlike. You're not thinking of like anything adult. You're not thinking about mortgages and all that shit. You're just like, yeah, 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 yeah. Uh, so I remember coming to after her beautiful husband brought me, a little complicated, some voices. A high school friend threw some stuff in there. Again, these are voices I've known all my life, more or less. I feel like that really helped. And then visually coming to like, oh Linda, what's up, girl? But then later, talking to her, find out she was standing there for like 8 good minutes. Um, you know, 8 good minutes in the doorway while my two eyes were slowly, again, you don't see what's in front of you, you just see random stuff. Uh, I don't know what my point is, but my point is basically, so we came together and we're just like, wow, all right, what's up? And then she's like, you okay? And that was the first time I realized, like, oh yeah, fuck, that's right. I'm the one going through this, but you're the audience that has to look at this intense ass fucking shit. So, here's someone you care about that you love going through some fucking like, holy Christ, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what the end result's going to be. Is it going to continue? Am I going to actually start flipping around? All that stuff. So it was a moment for all of us. Because, like I said in my other video, whether you care or not, or you saw it, but uh, at first, uh, when you smoke weed most of your life, people just think you're lacking memory. Oh, burnout, dude. That was all the cliches. Uh, but then when people are saying, like, hey, remember this, this, and this, and this? And you're like, really, dude? Nah. Uh, the first time it happened, like the most extreme version, it's in my other video, but my friend Vince Kelly, beautiful man, known him since first grade. So the poor man has gone through grade school, high school, and then college. Yeah, the poor man. So he basically shows up at my house uh, with a T-shirt, some concert, some band, right? Uh, I'm a cheap poor bastard. I never buy band clothes. So he shows up, whatever the band was, say it was the Black Keys or something. He shows up. I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I'm like, dude, you like the Black Keys? He's like, what do you mean? Do I like the Black Keys? I'm like, dude, I know you like the Black Keys. He's like, dude, I got this shirt at the concert we went to together. I'm like, really, dude? Like, we saw the Black Keys together? He's like, yeah, dude. The fuck? Um, and then he could tell by my face that I wasn't fucking with him. I wasn't kidding. And that was the first time that all my old friends realized, yeah, this epilepsy seizure shit does affect your memory. Because he later explained to me, he's like, yeah, dude, I thought you were kidding with me. Again, Irish redheaded asshole. We like to fuck with each other. But he said the look on my face when I was like, dude, do you like that band? He's like, yeah, dude, I got this shirt at the concert we went to together. He said, "Oh, yeah, no, my eyes were gone. I definitely did not know that that happened." Um, so yeah, whatever. I've said it many times before, so try not to repeat myself. But it's a beauty and a curse. I don't have a memory. Um, Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Like literally this week, my sister told me something on Sunday, and then today is only Wednesday. And I said, I brought it back up, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, remember this, this, and this?" I'm like, "Oh, shit, that was only 3 days ago." I don't now. Um, that was also in text, so I will say this: uh, meeting, again, I guess I'm just like a normal human being back in the day. Now, I do remember a lot more stuff and have a way more impact when I see people. Like if I see you, talk to you, I will remember better than if it's just, another text, another thing on the screen, another thing on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so yeah, yeah. So I forget what the main point of this was, other than it's my birthday. I guess that was the main thing. Um, Here's a version of an intensity. Okay, so don't um we're not gonna talk about it too long, but if you watch any of this stuff, there was a woman in my life that took care of me first. So if you watch any of these other videos, you'll see a woman. She's no longer in my life. So now I'm alone. And that's all I say with that. So it is even um yeah, so it's way more intense. You know what I'm saying? As you can imagine, right? Uh it's not that hard to figure it out, right? Like if I have a seizure right now, there's nobody here to take care of me. But you also don't want to have, um, you don't want to meet somebody and date someone just to have them take care. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to like be selfish enough, like, dude, I need someone in my life to take care of me. You just want to meet someone and enjoy the fact that, oh, oh, just to enjoy another human being, which is a pretty basic point of life. But uh, I've never had to deal with this before. I've only had seizures with one woman in my life. I never had seizures all my life. I got married, then I had them. This is the first time I'm single with them. What date number does that come up? You know what I'm saying? What, you're on like your fifth date, it went well enough, you appreciate their body, you appreciate their mind. Wow. Right? Yeah. Um, I mean, same with work, clearly. I have 3 decent jobs right now. Um, yeah. Check this out. Work at a nightclub, right? Um, so I work at the airport from 2 to 10. I work at a nightclub from 11 to 3:30 in the morning. Now, Philadelphia, remember, is a commonwealth. It's not a state. So there's only a certain number of after-hour clubs. And they're basically left over from Ben Franklin shit, you know? They're like, "Yeah, we need somewhere to hang out after the shit," right? This is one of them. Um, it is not I think Ben Franklin would be proud, but it's a lot of lasers and disco balls. So basically, I'm a chaperone. I'm 48 today. Oh, no, math, whatever. March 1st, 1975. So yeah, the kids, and it's a wild trip because we forget about the fucking pandemic, right? So there's 20 to 20-year-old kids showing up at this club that literally, or even 24-year-olds, whatever they are, they turned 21 during the pandemic. So like I mean, that's a mind fuck, right? When I turned 21, I was at a bar like that day for 2 years. If you took those 2 years from me and you just knew it was something you could do, but you're not. I mean, that is a one in a lifetime situation. You turn 21, but you can't drink. But now they all can. And to work at a club that's open at 3:30 when there's only so many in the city, it is hilarious. It is wild as fuck, right? So, imagine that, right? I'm just a wanderer out front, they get their cards, they come to me, pockets empty, blah, blah. Imagine if I have a seizure in front of these kids, right? You know, when it's like backed up at 2 o'clock, when every other bar closes, they all show up because it's open at 3:30 and it's the only one in center city. You get a big ass rush, right? Imagine if I have a seizure. What the fuck, dude? That's it. One, you're gonna scare the shit out of all those people. And two, that's it. I don't have that job anymore. There's no in between. So that's it. That's all I have. There's no real point to this other than it was my birthday and I haven't talked to you guys in a year. And I love you all. And wish me luck now that I'm alone. And my eyes were over here. Ready? My pupils. Eventually, I'm gonna figure out where the button is so I could just say goodbye and hit end stream without having to look down at the button like that. There's 2 buttons, end, end, end.